have now bought some stuff for the car. The stuff I talked about in the previous video. Steering rack and this arm, which connects to the steering rack and goes to the column. And this is new. We have to, I don't know if I'm gonna use the word modify, but we need to do something with this rack in order to fit the Mk1. Since it's all-wheel drive, nothing is bolt on. First thing is we need to figure out if we can actually take the steering rack out without removing the whole engine. What we need to do is to find a light. The steering rack on these cars are down here. You see the red, what is red there? That's the steering rack. From factory, it would be quite easy to remove it. I think you don't even have to remove the exhaust. But now we have to, since everything is built here and to fit the all-wheel drive system, I think what we have to do, maybe we do not have to remove the drive shaft going to the rear. It would probably make it a bit easier, but I don't think we have to. So we will try a bit without. There is 4 bolts holding it to the chassis. 4 on this side, 4 on that side, and it's held in by a bushing on each side. On this side, 1 bolt is there, other one is below, same on this side. Then I'm thinking, or we have to remove here, and I think that we will be able to kind of slide this thing out, but probably from this side. Hopefully, I have never tried, but hopefully we will be able to slide it out here. Very sure, that's what I'm hoping for. If not, I think we will have, I know we will have a lot of issues. So that's why it's fun with custom cars, right? Let's just get to this. So I want to show you that to get to the bolts, it's actually not that bad. So one of the bolts is there, right in the center. The other bolt is there, right in the center, but you can get to it, or the exhaust is the big thing here in the middle. Difficult on there. Filming ain't gonna point. So I got to this bolt on the right side of the car from underneath there, and the bolts on this side I got from here just by using this with this angle sockets extender thing. Of course, this would be easier to get to this bolt if I didn't have the dog bone going to the rear. I guess if you're watching this, you are kind of a Mk1, you know a bit of this. So usually people don't have this dog bone going to the rear like I do. They have this bar in the front. It's like tubular, what's it usually called? Tubular something bar going in the front. Not in like in the engine bay, very in the front support bar, maybe tubular support bar, and it's in the front. So instead of you having the mount like I do from underneath and to the back of the car, you have it in the front of the gearbox, and where I think it's where the gearbox and where the engine meets approximately, and it holds the engine in the same way this dog bone is holding it. People have this instead, it will be easier to do this, but it was not that bad actually. I think I can't say I worked on very new cars, but I would imagine many newer cars is actually worse than working on this. So this is the situation at the moment. I don't film a lot now because it's very difficult to film. This, as I said, this is the situation. It's not gonna come out easily. I have already been cutting away. I can show you. Because there is some part you need to cut away on this. I think if you have watched how to build all-wheel drive Mark 1 videos I go in a bit detail there. I would say actually good detail if you want to build. That's 3 videos, and it's not the correct, not the only way to do it. There is no right way, but you get a very good base on how you can do it. So what you need to do, this you need to do. This is what and you need to cut away this part, this thing, because this is where the drive shaft is going. It's actually, you know, kind of dead center on where the drive shaft to the rear is going. So this needs to go. I also, now while I was under the car, I was able to cut away this part. Mine look a bit different than this one with these mounts, but 100%. What I'm gonna do before I install this one is I'm gonna cut away all of these parts here, because I'm not using any of them and they are just in the way. I think that if I had cut away all of them, I think from what it looks like now, I would be able to slide it out, or maybe not. It would be it would be easier if I did it. So because one of these brackets on the rack is kind of in the way when I'm trying to slide it out. I don't know, it's somewhere, yeah, in this area. So I'm not able to slide it out this way. I will try to maybe do it that way. And I think if I had cut away all of this stuff, slide it out that way, make it easier. Because then it sits like this with a mount here and somewhere here. And this thing is difficult to get past the drive shaft. So to slide it out this way, no, fuck, that was the thing. This thing is too big to get out. Yeah, that was how it was. Like here, you need to slide it through this round hole. And I think, right now I'm starting to get a bit unsure. I'm not 100% there, but I think when I tried to push it that way, before I got this part away, it looked like it was too big to get through. I think my plan was now to try to push it this way as much as possible, like to get it this out, and then, you know, take that part, slide it up here, something like that. And that's still the plan. We will see. I think my plan was to take the dog bone and remove it. The dog bone is like, it's underneath, as you saw, and it prevents the engine from sliding back and forward, because there is one mount here, one on the gearbox side, and then the dog bone is kind of holding it still while these are holding it up. So I need maybe this crane thing to hold the engine. I need it if I'm going to remove it, to hold the engine in place, and I need to remove this at least, and maybe some other stuff, because the engine will tilt in one way or the other. Finally, this was not as easy as I thought, and I guess it's because I jinxed it, but it's out. Yeah, now I'm gonna, we should compare it. I could probably, because how I took it out was right side, took it as far as I could, decided I had the opportunity to remove this, so I did. But then kind of took, instead of pushing it to one side and take it up, I pushed it to one side and snuck it down somehow. Not snuck it down, pushed it down with force. Great force. It's out. So these are the two. So you see here, this has been cut away. And while I was under the car, I cut this part, which was, I think it was a bit different underneath. Maybe there is, two types of these. Maybe it depends on the engine or something. I know some people, they make the dog bone from this mount or one of these and just take one piece of metal and bolt it to the car, to the gearbox. So that's also an opportunity, possibility. I would say it's easier than how I have done it. I think if I was gonna do it again, I would not do the dog bone mount. I would do either the tubular mount in the front or something like this. Maybe not exactly this, but yeah, just make of what's already there. Probably gonna make it easier to remove it later. Here's the old one. You can see something has happened here. I would imagine this has something to do with, what can it be? Can it be the drive shaft going to the rear or something? At some point. Don't know what that is. Hopefully nothing. What else? Yeah, I will cut away these things all the way around, more than I've done here. I will try to get actually everything. Maybe I will wait while mounting this. Maybe I can do it loosely. I don't know. I need to think a bit. Like, I'm just thinking loudly, and then I know I should mount it because they are very difficult to get onto here, and here at least. So I'm gonna do this, and then I think it's almost 10 o'clock in the evening, so I don't think I will be able to. I will not, I'm pretty sure I will not be able to finish this today, but can continue tomorrow. Pretty sure I know where this comes from, because I would imagine it's the same as now. I have managed to cut just a bit into the rack now, but now it's clean. The plan for now is to just clean it a bit, paint it black, then it's gonna dry till tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm gonna continue. Yeah, we are now on day 2. The ring board arms thing are mounted. And I just took a bit of tape here to try to protect the threads. So I'm gonna try to slide this thing back in. Approximately the same way I took it out. So it's actually gonna be the other way. So I'm gonna try to take this, slide it up and out through here as much as possible, then take the other side and kind of try to take it this way. I don't know if I showed this yesterday, but I took the jack, and instead of using this to hold the engine, I just took it from the underside. Makes it a lot easier. I think I've done the part which is one of the difficult things, and it's to slide the rack here inside, and it was actually a lot easier than to take it out yesterday. I'm not sure if it's because I took away all of this from grinded away, cut away all the mounts and such. I think so. Now it's kind of in, almost. I just need to push it this way. Steering rack is back on and it's mounted. The rack itself mounted here in the wheel housing on both sides. By the way, if anyone knows if someone is making these but in uniballs or something, let me know, because I need something, and they need to be longer than the Mark 1s, about this much, 3 centimeters, maybe 2 or 3. If anyone, I'm gonna try to do a bit of research, but if you know, please let me know. Send me a message or leave it in the comments somewhere. I need to take the downpipe back on the car. I was thinking to put on the wheels and everything and put the car on the ground, because then it's lower and it's easier for me to work, stretch into the engine bay. But now I'm a bit unsure. I will have a look, because to take the downpipe back on the car, it needs to go from the underside and up to the turbo, and then yeah, maybe I will do that, and then then take the wheels back on, put the car on the ground, and change this rod between the column and the rack. I've taken out the old one of this, not here, yeah, and it was quite easy, very easy. Just 2 bolts here from the steering column, and it looks like it's the same. There's no difference between the sides. So I'm gonna put this back in the steering column, mount it, so now finally I've been fighting with this. I started 11 something today, I think it was. Now it's 20 minutes till 3 and finally managed to get this arm between the column and the rack in place. What I had to do is, because I had problems to get the bolt through the connection on the steering rack. So the bolt, which is down here, was the most difficult. I needed to remove the steering wheel, because then there is some movement in the rod inside the column, and that made it actually quite easy. Could be a trick. Maybe you're gonna do something like the same. And I decided to change the steering wheel. So now I have the Mark 1 steering wheel. It's much, you can see, it's quite larger, and that's actually quite nice. I have been thinking of like this, to have the steering wheel. No, since there is no power steering at all, that's why older cars have these huge steering wheels, so it's easier to steer. And I think this steering wheel, it looks, maybe not this exactly, but this type looks nice. I'm gonna, I don't know, clean a bit. Need to mount the charge pipe from the turbo, and need to do a test drive just outside, because now it feels much. There is still a bit to play. It feels, could actually be the steering column. Yeah, I think it is. I think I can move this up and down. So the bearings inside the column can be changed, and I need to do that at some point, but I'm not gonna do it now. It feels quite nice, or at least better. Now the next thing is the bearings in the column. It's a huge difference between now and before, so you have to, now it's more drivable, and like you can drive it like this for a very long time, but of course handling is quite important, so these bearings needs to be put on the to-do list, and I think that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.